Millions of Americans have been personally feeling the impact of this economic downturn. And today we learned that the U.S. economy as a whole, measured by real GDP, contracted a record-shattering 32.9% last quarter. To break all this down, what it means, we bring in ABC's chief business correspondent, Rebecca Jarvis. Thanks so much for joining us. Help us put this nearly 33% drop into perspective. I mean, how does this compare to other economic lows, and how hard will it be to get back to pre-pandemic growth?
Well, Lindsay, it's historic no matter how you look at it. It is worse for a single quarter than we ever saw during the Great Recession. It's worse than we ever saw for a single quarter during the Great Depression. And if you think about it, it's not entirely unexpected. The economy here in the United States was entirely shut down for most of the last 4 months. And really, when you think about your own spending, if you look at your credit card statement, for example, you're going to see a reflection of the fact that you weren't going to the gas station, you weren't buying coffees very likely, and you probably weren't shopping for very much other than food. And that's the thing. We are a consumer-driven economy. Consumers were told to stay home. They were laid off and furloughed from jobs, and that's exactly what this is a reflection of. The big question is, what now? Now, as things begin to reopen, what kind of rebound will we see? We will see some sort of rebound, but in order to climb back to where we were pre-pandemic, that's going to take a while. And the Congressional Budget Office, which is nonpartisan, crunched the numbers, and they believe that over the next 10 years, this pandemic will cost our economy here in the United States $16 trillion, Lindsay.
And this data covers the months that we were in lockdown. The president's spokesperson today pointed out that we shouldn't assume that the economy will stay this way and that more than 7 million jobs were created once businesses reopened. So what do economists say about that?
Well, the hard part in this, Lindsay, is that as we've seen the economy reopen, some people have been rehired. And in fact, they were rehired, especially towards the middle of May and June, at very quick rates. The problem is that that hasn't held on. And in fact, today, the other data point that we got, in addition to GDP, is the number of layoffs that we saw last week. And that number is climbing. We saw more than 1.4 million Americans file first-time claims for unemployment. That means 1.4 million plus new layoffs last week, and the number of unemployed Americans happens to be climbing now as a number of states return, they roll back these reopenings, and also consumers, as we've talked about so many times here before, we as consumers have a lot of control over what happens in the U.S. economy. If we're not spending money, then the U.S. economy isn't growing, and when jobs are at risk, when health and our health is a question mark, people spend differently, and that is bad for the economic growth of this country.
Rebecca Jarvis, thank you so much for your time and just explaining it in a way that we can all understand. We appreciate it.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.